Hello, welcome to VNews Broadcast Daily and following today's highlights.
Vietnam begins polling public opinions on draft amendments to the 1992 Constitution. Former Deputy Foreign Minister Le Luong Minh officially assumes his duty as ASEAN Secretary General. The country sees rubber production expanding in 2012.
It's vital for Vietnam to poll public opinions on the draft amendments to its 1992 Constitution to make it better. On January 8th, a national conference to launch the work was broadcast live nationwide.
Addressing the event, National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng highlighted the importance of collecting opinions on the draft amendments from all people. The work must be implemented in a cautious, transparent, scientific and democratic manner, added Hùng, who is also chairman of the committee for drafting amendments to the 1992 Constitution. Citizens can express their own opinions via different communication channels. The opinions must be gathered and summarized fully and accurately. While polling public opinion, the information campaigns must adhere to the party's policies and guidelines. Relevant agencies will submit their reports to the National Assembly Standing Committee, the government and the Vietnam Fatherland Front Central Committee by March the 15th. The poll on the amendments is a key task of the party, armed forces and people in the first months of 2013. Ministries and departments were asked to promptly formulate specific plans in line with the Politburo's direction, the National Assembly's resolution and the strategy of the Committee for Drafting Amendments to the 1992 Constitution.
National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng voiced support for the cooperation between the State Audit Office of Vietnam and Hungary. He received a delegation from the State Audit Office of Hungary, led by President Laszlo Domokos on January 8th.
National Assembly Chairman Hùng said the visit by the Hungarian auditors would help promote the cooperative relationship between the two state audit offices. He stated that Vietnam will always pay heed to building and completing legal frameworks for auditing activities. Domokos briefed Hùng on the outcomes of the joint working session between the two auditing agencies. Earlier on the day, a new cooperation agreement between the two auditing agencies was signed. The agreement focuses on anti-corruption and audit training.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng requested the banking sector to better implement the monetary management policy and maintain inflation at a level lower than that in 2012. He spoke at the conference in Hanoi on January 9th to introduce the sector's 2013 plan.
Prime Minister Dũng said major challenges lie ahead. The government's goals for this year include stabilizing the macroeconomy, curbing inflation, maintaining a growth rate higher than that of 2012, and ensuring social welfare. He directed the State Bank of Vietnam to control interest rates and credit in line with the macroeconomy, improve business access to capital, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises working in agriculture, exports and support industries. Dũng also asked the bank to ensure liquidity and operation of credit organizations and the national economy. The bank has to work closely with ministries and departments to classify, restructure and deal with bad debts in line with the bank restructuring scheme. The sector's 2013 goals are also to continue its flexible monetary policy, control money flow to ensure credit growth of 12%, and tackle obstacles facing businesses. It will also regulate exchange rates and the foreign currency market, and take drastic measures to restructure credit organizations. Last year, the sector helped safeguard the banking system and increase the foreign currency reserve.
Vietnam's former Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs Le Luong Minh officially assumed his duty as Secretary General of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations for the 2013-2017 tenure. A ceremony for the transfer of office was held in Jakarta, Indonesia on January 9th.
In his exit speech, Pitsuwan highlighted ASEAN and the Secretariat's achievements in the last 5 years, especially their efforts in strengthening the intra-bloc solidarity, cooperation and integration towards the establishment of a community by 2015, and consolidating the central role of ASEAN in the region. He affirmed the role and position of the bloc in the international arena. Addressing the ceremony, the new Secretary-General highlighted the need to intensify efforts and goodwill from both ASEAN and China on the basis of progress achieved to ensure that ASEAN and East Asia are a region of peace, security, stability and development. He confirmed he and the ASEAN Secretariat are prepared to work closely with the ASEAN member states to deliver major commitments and objectives. Ming's 5-year tenure will end on December 31, 2017. His appointment was formally endorsed by the ASEAN leaders at the 21st ASEAN Summit in Cambodia in November 2012.
The Da Nang Institute for Socio-Economic Development, DISD, has recently received a collection of valuable documents affirming Vietnam's sovereignty over Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa archipelagos. We have more.
The documents donated by chairman of the US-based Institute for Vietnamese Culture and Education, Trần Thắng, include 43 ancient maps and the postal atlas of China, published by China in Nanjing in 1933. The map in the postal atlas contains no information about Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa and identifies Hainan Island as the southernmost territory of China. It proved the fact that Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa archipelagos belong to Vietnam. To date, Thắng has presented to the Da Nang Institute for Socio-Economic Development 150 maps, including 110 original and 40 copies, which were published in the UK, Germany, Australia, Canada, the US, and Hong Kong, China, from 1626 to 1980.
The Central Highlands province of Đắk Lắk has exported its coffee beans to 62 countries and territories across the world. Its business planned to ship over 120,000 tons of coffee beans in the first quarter of this year.
The Đắk Lắk Provincial Department of Industry and Trade reported that the locality earned $10 million each from 18 markets around the world. Germany and Japan are the biggest consumers. In the 2012-2013 crop, coffee growers harvested 465,000 tons of coffee beans. To increase the value of its coffee in the global market, the province is encouraging local firms to sell directly to large coffee processors, roasters, and consumers abroad.
The Vietnam Rubber Association reported that the country's rubber output bumped up to 1.01 million tons in 2012, representing a volume increase of 23.8% from 2011.
But despite the production boom, the annual earnings of $2.85 billion were down 12.6% on the previous year due to a drop in value. Last year, the price of Vietnam's natural rubber fell 33% due to reduced demand from China, its biggest consumer, and the increasing application of synthetic rubber over natural rubber. Nevertheless, recent efforts mean Vietnam has become the third largest exporter of natural rubber in the world after Thailand and Indonesia. In 2012, the country exported over 65,000 tons of rubber to India, worth $187.7 million and an increase of 112% on 2011. The trend indicates a definite swing in Vietnamese export patterns from China to India. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, by the end of 2012, Vietnam had roughly 910,000 hectares of rubber trees, accounting for 7% of the total global rubber area, and surpassing the objective of 800,000 hectares in 2015. The yield of Vietnamese rubber trees now stands at 1.7 tons per hectare, which is also the third highest worldwide.
And this is the end of our news today. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.